Welcome to this special edition of the Wow Seat. I am Allie Nicole Wow, She Does It All. Today's segment will be a reflection segment of the Leveling Up Your Leadership Branding Wow Factor Expert Series with Profitable Leadership Authority, Queen René Johnson. This series was hosted on our Blog Talk Radio platform. And today, Queen Renee will be sharing about what were the biggest highlights for her from this experience, and also the primary chief aim and what that was in regards to the experience that she desired to create for you, the listeners. And she's also going to talk about what's emerged for her, sort of by her own leveling up from providing this series that has now inspired new passions to expand even her worthwhile, outstanding work. So this is going to be very, very exciting. So before I bring her forward, I'm going to share the names of the episodes, the replay links to all of these segments, and also Queen Renee's special offers and more info about her are located in the description box. So we jump started this series with a preview segment, and that preview segment was called Level Up Your Leadership Branding Wow Factor, and it really set the tone for this stellar series that she provided. So the first segment was about stepping into your profitable leadership power zone, and it was amazing. And the second segment was the importance of your digital leadership mission. And then the third segment was the journey to profitable leadership. And the fourth segment was the LightHouse Leader-preneur factor. And then the fifth segment was developing your impact branding wow factor. And then we closed out for the sixth segment in the series with unedited your wow factor. So, as you can see, Queen Renee provided an abundance of powerful segments to help level up your leadership and branding agenda. And I am certainly excited to hear more from her today about this experience. Queen Renee, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's exciting to come full circle and look back at what a busy but productive and inspiring week we had.
Absolutely, yes, we did. It was beyond amazing. I mean, that series was so epic, and it's going to be one of those that we're certainly going to encourage the listeners to continue to go back and listen to over and over, because that is just a huge. There's several treasure chests there, and so many golden nuggets, gems, and diamonds that can be pulled out, from there continuously. So it certainly is one we want them to continuously have in their reservoir to keep revisiting for sure. So, what I would like to do, since this segment is a little bit different than what we've been covering, obviously, within the series, I have a question cluster for you. So it's kind of loaded. So just want to ask you, what were the biggest highlights for you of the experience? What was your chief aim for the experience that you really desired to create for the audience? And also, now that you've done this series, what has it inspired you to do next for furthering and expanding your own worthwhile, outstanding work? So I know that was a loaded cluster, but would love to just hear.
Yes, as I was reflecting back, getting ready for today's series, Queen Ellie
Mm-hmm.
Nicole, which I'm so grateful for you, and
Oh,
you
thank you.
going through last week with you and being able to vibrationally sync with you. That was
Mm.
a key highlight because you and I play
Thank you.
at another level of vibration, and it really elevated my works in many ways throughout the week.
Awesome.
So I
Thank
greatly
you.
appreciate that, and I believe that the listeners, when they who haven't had the chance to listen, who did, are going to benefit from the energy exchange that we had. So that would be
Yes.
one of the
thank
highlights.
you for saying that. Yes, definitely. The
Yeah,
energy was definitely high, and I appreciated you so much, and just your words there, for the synergy that we've had
good.
together.
Because you
Hmm.
had really good commentary, and
Thank you.
having worked with me now for over a year, I think it was good to to hear that back. So, and just reaffirming all the work. So I kind of
Wonderful.
when I look back at some of the other highlights of it is
Hmm.
there, as you listed out the topics we covered, there are many, it just reaffirmed the many
Hmm.
dimensions that um, today's leaders, entrepreneurs would benefit from considering. And
Yes.
even if some of the elements they had considered, we brought forth a higher next level, now level
Hmm.
to
Yes.
really lean in and to consider how their own journey of leadership from all the different elements and
Yes.
angles that we covered. So I think
Hmm.
taking the time to consider the many dimensions
Yes.
and where you're at and how you can benefit from the knowledge that we shared and the resources that we made available and I made available as well would
Hmm.
be really good in doing that, because from all the elements it brought that focus really in, yes, on each one of them, but as somebody listening could maybe get a little overwhelmed of, I didn't realize there were so many facets of me, you know. So the importance of having a guide.
Yeah.
As I walk through each one of them, I gave thought of what was the highest message
Mm.
to speak to maybe even their higher consciousness
Yes.
that they weren't aware of, and let that energy resonate with them in their belly and their body and their thoughts
Hmm.
and so forth.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
also speaking to that and reassuring them that as a guide that I am for my clients, and if potentially partnering with them, that
Hmm.
the journey doesn't have to be difficult or hard, and it can
Right.
be one of elevation, one of
Hmm.
embodiment of the works that we did, one
Yes.
where you can get inspired and you can
Mm.
walk through with me by your side and implementing these, customizing to you. So
Yes.
just the partnering aspect, I thought we did a good job in not only educating higher value of things that our clients use now and beyond, but
Hmm.
also the availability of having a partner. So one, you don't delay, because that
Right.
divide in the marketplace, as I mentioned in one of them during the week, is only going to get bigger.
Hmm.
And stalling and delaying, either because you don't know where to start or don't know how to or which one, that shouldn't even be in your peripheral, because that's why you
True.
have an expertise like myself and Allie Nicole that walked you through
Yes.
that and can further support you. So reassuring and knowing that all great leaders, even myself, as I've been mentored by Allie Nicole here and other great coaches and
Hmm.
inspired individuals, but you know, walking through it, being an example of allowing the works I did that I've been able to showcase last week with them, and then
Hmm.
being an example of allowing myself to be served through you, and then hopefully
Hmm.
encouraging those that are ready to be served through me, so they don't miss out
Hmm.
and they get to benefit from you know, getting in touch with their higher leadership inner being.
Yes. Yes.
They get
Yes.
to radiate, you know, more broadly and more succinctly where they need to. They
Hmm.
get out of their own way, you
Yes.
know,
Yes.
and and
Yes.
and
Yes.
reap the rewards. So I would say that. And
Hmm.
then um chief chief aim, I really wanted to, and I took deliberate intention to prepare for each one, though these are my
Hmm.
works and I bring them into my clients now and previously as well,
Hmm.
and in the writing, the publications. But I took time for
Yes.
each one of them to revisit them and get vibrationally connected and rereading the
Hmm.
work and thinking through what was the best message that I could share, because there's a
Yes.
lot to unpack.
Yes.
There's a lot to
Yes.
unpack,
Yes.
because it's a beautiful thing, and it's a much needed uh, it, momentous opportunity in leadership nowadays. There is so much opportunity to grow and be that beacon of light and be that impact,
Yes.
and to stand out
Yes.
and to shift in your lanes and all the wonderful things we talked about. And so my chief aim was really listening to my intuition, which is leadership sixth sense, and determining in advance the best message so that I could bring it forward in a way that you could hear it, and you
Yes.
could resonate with it, and you could be inspired by it. So I would say that deliberateness of being prepared to bring the best part of me and the message
Yes.
at the time for the audience. If that
Yes,
makes
and
sense.
it was stellar. Yes, yes, and you did that, and you can tell that you were deliberate in your intention because vibrationally it certainly came out, and then just the deliverance. Yeah, definitely wonderful. Oh my goodness, yes. I hate the series ended actually.
Yeah, it was a great week, and just having to play in that high energy all week long, and a new facet, a new multi-dimension that I play in,
Yes,
that's back
yes.
there in my logo, the different dimensions, but to be able to play with it so purposefully every
Yes,
day. Oh,
yes.
I enjoyed it. I hope the
That's
listeners
great,
did.
and that's why I wanted you to be able to, to share. We're continuing the dialogue, but it's so
Yeah.
important, and I love everything that you've been sharing so far. And and speaking even of the multidimensional, because that's been the
Yeah.
work that we've been doing in terms of the multifaceted multipreneurship, and being able to bring these different levels of a brand and leadership expression to the forefront. And this is extremely important for leaders and emerging leaders and brands to really pay attention to, is that what was happening with Queen Renee is that you did get to see all these different levels of her leadership and branding expression, and being a demonstration of don't be afraid to show up in these different categories. And if you notice, in each segment, I introduced her with a primary role, but also a secondary that was her role as it related to the topic that she was sharing in that aspect of leadership. And the reason for doing that is simply because when she's sharing about a specific function, she is in that dimension of herself sharing about that leadership aspect. And so that's something, listeners, to definitely pay attention to and to go back if you missed it. And then for those who haven't heard the segments yet, that pay attention to that so that you can see the different levels of her branding and leadership. And also that makes her even more credible of why she's a trusted guide that will be able to help you expand far beyond what you could ever imagine, and not be boxed in just to a limitation of one title and one aspect of your leadership beingness. So, Queen Renee, continue. I just wanted to plug that in.
No, I appreciate. Can you remind me of the third element to speak to?
Yes.
I just
So,
got so
well,
into that.
actually, you've actually really kind of shared. You've kind of shared it just in everything you've been talking about. But the third element was just really about how you felt this experience sort of leveled you up and possibly expanded the works that you're going to do moving forward. Because I know anytime you have an experience like this, and you've been sharing in terms of, it was high energy, another aspect for you, an
Sure.
opportunity to uh, share your worthwhile, outstanding works on a higher level, from this place. And so, anytime you have a unique series like this, as leaders, we always get leveled up in the process. As you said, you were going back through reading materials and deliberately preparing. And so, through this experience, just was wanting to know that if something has springboard from that for you moving forward.
Something, how about lots of
Yeah,
things?
no, right?
Yeah, the energy. No,
Yes.
I enjoyed that. There's a lot of challenges out there, and people are offering
Mm-hmm.
them, and I enjoyed being part of and the challenge, and it was
Yeah.
a great 6 days of up leveling me. And I
Mm-hmm.
spent time preparing mentally, not just preparing the
Mm-hmm.
topic, but preparing my intuition, my mental state, my own experience, being
Yeah.
intentional with the vibration, really, really honing into those habits. And so I did that again this morning. I'm like, I like that. I mean, I've done it. I
Yeah.
have different rituals and that I do to work for my powers on every day. But during the week, I added some things and up leveled. So I want to keep
Yeah.
practicing those because I really got in tune with the now space that is so important, even more so. Even though I practice that and I teach that, I really leaned into it even more so I could be more present, even more so at a higher vibrational plane for your listeners. And so letting go of all the things that are halfway there or aren't done or whatnot, it was so, because many projects that I'm working on, with me and my team, but to just focus in wholeheartedly was a beautiful experience, and it allowed me to create quicker. In that I practice every day. You'll be able to see the in this, in my link, we can share some follow-up articles that I did for each
We'll have
day.
those in the description. Yes.
Yeah, to recapture it and to go in and actually put our conversation, and even there was new things that I offered, not just regurgitate, but the new vibration, the next level that came to me inspired through intention and intuition.
Exactly. Yes.
And so having
That's
the
what I was
discipline.
wanting you to share. Yes, because I saw a lot of that happening. It's like, this inspired more for her to, add to her reservoir of offerings. And so,
yes,
it's awesome.
So the discipline to every day go in and repurpose the work we did, and to even repurpose it from an up level position. And again, showing the offerings, because I'm not that I'm shy at that, but I am, I need to do, I want to be able to help others who are ready for this to find me. So I need to do a better job at that. I have no problem showing up and branding and sharing my message and adding value every day. And in the platforms, I do that regularly. I did one today, but to really be more in a good way, direct of how you can utilize me. That was a good opportunity as well. So not only designing the content, the articles quicker, but they also were written from a higher level, being in the zone and vibration with you, but then also being more deliberate and in a way of letting you know from in a positive, assertive way of what I have available to really help you maximize this and take advantage now and now on the next level. And so that to me was some, I wanted to be able to stay in that zone as I continue to create and design from here, because it was good refresher in some of the works that we've done together, but even at a higher level, and to be the demonstration of what we were talking about. And I tell you what, can I just say this, that not just what I got, but by that whole, even though I'm regularly show up to be even more so at a vibrational plane and very, very deliberate, the following that I had during the week, my leadership voice really shined out there on all my platforms. People were showing up during the call, but they were also new coming in and commenting and participating with the post and even sharing them because it was really resonating. So I say that because this is much needed messages, and it was great to have that affirmation, not from, oh, look at me, but the affirmation that the messaging was spot on, and that it was being now vibrating and ripple effect out from me to them and to those they want to share it with. And that's what true leadership in this new era is about, is really, I talk about this in my new publication about intuition is going to be the currency of new leadership. I believe it. And so it was exciting to see that demonstrated as I presented it. Others were picking up on that higher vibration intuition and using it and then sharing it with others. And so that example of the intuition, that sixth sense, and growing that as a leader so that you can give the right messages that are needed now, not get so stuck in old works or old things that you felt like you should get to, but in the now energy, the now space and vibration. And I did that. And it was demonstrated on the other end by those picking it up and carrying it into their network. So I found that super exciting.
Yes, that was wonderful. That was wonderful. You shined so brightly. You were illuminate. And the thing about it is that just starts a new phase of illumination for your leadership, and which is so needed right now. I've mentioned during the series, a few times that you are one of the most important voices that needs to be heard during this time. And in the digital space, I do believe that you are that female powerhouse that is here to expand and elevate the higher levels of awareness to what leadership is supposed to be like, especially now in the digital space, and why it is important to come to the right lighthouses that we talk about. And we wrote a publication. We co-authored a publication together. On that level, on that topic, because it's not enough just for others to go to different lighthouses, and it's not enough just to be illuminate. You have to be an illuminate leader who is leading this new way of expanded acceleration for people during this time, because accelerated leadership is what is going to be the very catalyst to change. And you brought up something in terms of how you're moving quicker, and the being a part of the challenge and sharing the articles each day allowed you to be able to do that, being more deliberate and dedicated to your discipline, so to speak, is that's what is needed for leaders nowadays, is to be able to be more accelerated, but not accelerated in terms of just doing, but accurately accelerate themselves. And that's why with what you shared, yes, exactly. That's why with what you shared is that you allow yourself to be intuitive, and also to be grounded, so that you could even bring forth a higher level of a message that maybe you shared a certain way at one point, but being present in the power of the now, and allowing that to elevate and expand. And so I thought, you did that so magnificently, throughout the week. And that's why I say you are one of the most important voices, and especially feminine voices, that needs to be heard and recognized, during this time. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to expand on that, kind of maybe even a last thought, or however today, but I think that being resilient as a leader is such a valuable quality, and the opposite of that is resistance.
Yeah.
And so having the opportunity to go through a challenge myself, I feel like I'm an excellent coach because I use great mentors and coaches like yourself, and I do the work, and I stay in my trade, and I up level, and I continue to grow and develop, so I can give the best things and the most timely things to them. And I think for the listeners is, so building that resilience and letting go and leaning in and listening to the inspiration, listening to your inner being, the beingness, that is a portion, that is a part of being more resilient, because the opposite of that is resistance.
Yes.
And resistance means that you are not growing and you are staying in the past. And it means that you're trying to make something of the past work for the now, or you're trying to go back in the past and be in the past and make it work. So I just felt like when I was invited, you said to think about what was like a message to really leave. That came to me. And I thought, whoever needs to hear that, it's so important that quality of resilience is about learning how, one of the points of it is learning how to allow yourself to get in touch with your inner higher leader, your inner being, and work from that. That's going to not steer you wrong, and it's going to cause you to beautifully get into the now works of leadership. Resisting these messages, resisting the messages, then means that you're not in touch with your inner being, your higher leadership voice. Then you're So that's the opposite of being that one of the strong qualities that we're going to need in today's leaders that are needing to be more readily available to their consciousness and
Yes,
able to
yes,
move more agile and quicker, because that's what I was
absolutely.
demonstrating too. You will need
Mhm,
to move more
mhm.
agile and quicker in this new environment leadership. And that means that you're going to need to let some of the methods and ways or even projects on your list or wish list
Mhm.
go because they no longer fit. And so learning to
Put
pay
them from the
attention.
bucket list to the bucket that you
Mhm.
don't need that anymore.
No, yeah. So
Yeah.
I think if
Yeah.
when you listen to the go back and listen or you read the articles, and if you feel
Mhm.
that sense of evolving, great. You're using that quality of being resilient and letting yourself mold to the new clay, letting
Yes.
yourself mold to the new energy and the new awareness
Yes.
that she was speaking to. If you feel resistance, then that tells you you're not in your now. You're now stronger inner leader beingness. You're
Mm.
in the past. Resistance always
Right.
comes from something from the past. And
That's true.
that I'm learning, I'm recalibrating that for myself in different
Yes.
things that I anticipated this last year to get into my works. And doesn't mean they weren't valuable and there's good things, but
Right.
I've already evolved. So I want to play in this energy and keep bringing this
Mhm.
energy forward. And so as you do that, as you, as a listener, think about that, if you feel like, oh, that's great, I want to get there, but I got to get back over here to do this. Depending on what confines you're in, you're in a corporate environment, you might need to look at the past projects and then say, yes, that was, but I found a way that we can actually accelerate it by doing this and
Right.
leveraging it. Or that was on my list because somebody told me it was, or I felt like I had to have it. Do I really? Or could I play more bravely or more boldly or be
Mm.
that brand, that lighthouse if I go this
Mm.
way and
Yes.
let that go without feeling like it's a mark against you? So
Mhm.
that's the messaging that I felt inspired to share with the audience today so that
Thank
you can lean
you.
more in
Yes.
and think about where you're at so you can use this most impactfully for your leadership and your life.
Absolutely. Wow, Queen Renee, that was spectacular. The show is done now. I mean, that was it. That was spectacular. And oh my goodness, I mean, that was beyond profound. And
Good.
anyone listening, um, you need to really soak that in. Let that marinate because what she is saying, there's actually so many different dimensions and layers of truth in that which she has magnificently expressed. And she brought up resistance. We're in a time, a high level time of acceleration. And there's possibilities. There's a possibility portal that is open for those who are ready to accelerate. You can
Mm-hmm.
accelerate if you're in resistance. And it's time for leaders to really catch up with their evolution because one of the things, and Queen Renee, I know, will agree, is that you really are already all that you need to be for the time space that we're
Mm-hmm.
in to be showing up and serving at a higher level. So as you go back and listen to these segments, you know, pick up where you already are in your leadership and now what needs to just expand so that your brand and the evolution of who you have become can be uh, displayed in the marketplace, just as you're seeing what Queen Renee has magnificently been displaying throughout the week, and certainly in this segment here. And it also should just invite you to definitely follow her. I've been encouraging others. We have her information in the description, but I've been encouraging others to follow her on LinkedIn so that you can see this high level demonstration and be with her in real time on posts and different things. She would love to have you engage and check out the plethora of articles that she has, not just the ones that we're providing from this particular series, but also the ones that are in her archives. So Queen Renee, oh wow, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You have been
You're welcome.
amazing.
Thank you. Namaste. You're welcome.
You are so welcome. Thank you. It's been my absolute honor and pleasure to have had you. And of course, this is not it for you as it relates to the continuation of the expansion. So thank you again and for everything, and bringing the wow to the wow seat. And I certainly will be having you back again.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you, Queen Ellie Nicole.
Oh, thank you. You're most welcome. And I just want to say thanks for being a part of this experience with us, listeners. This was a special segment. And the Wow Seat is dedicated to bringing you the best top expertpreneurs across all of our platforms. And you actually can learn more about our platforms at www.thewowseat.tumblr.com. Also, check out our replays at www.thewowseatpodcast.tumblr.com. We'd love for you to follow us on Facebook under the Wow Seat Media. You can learn more about me at www.wowshedoesitall.com. I am Allie Nicole. Wow, she does it all. I am wishing you a wow week and stay blessed.